Level up your hunting game and join the cause. Help preserve small-town Texas hunting culture and become a more successful hunter by learning the best ways to squeeze the most out of your budget and precious time out in the field. Welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Here are your resident bandits, Richard Kinchlow and Jimmy Byrne. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Jimmy here. Happy to be back on the podcast with you. But I'm not the reason why you're here. The reason why you're here, as always, is for the old Corn Bandit. What's going on, Richard?
Woo-hoo! Hi. No more solo.
Yeah. I know you missed me.
I did. We did. We really did. So, speaking of, there are people that have asked, where is he? Where is Mr. El Bandito himself? So we're going to play ourselves a little game here, and we've got some callers on the line, and we're going to play a little game with where the hell has Jimmy been for the past? What is it? Carry the 9, 6, 7,
4 months.
4 months, really? Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, 4, yeah.
Okay. So here we go. Where the hell has Jimmy been? I'm going to give you top choices. For 4 choices, only one of them is correct. So here we go. Number 1, Mexico. Number 2, hunting Mukele Mbembe. And for those of y'all who don't know what Mukele Mbembe is, he is the brontosaurus that lives in Central Africa, Republic of Central Africa, and the Congo. Phenomenal. Look it up. The third thing was Jimmy converting to Mormonism. And the fourth thing, of course, was jail. So again, number 1, where the hell has Jimmy been the past 4, 5, 6, 10 months? Mexico. Number 2, hunting Mukele Mbembe. 3, converting to Mormonism. Or 4, jail. All right, so we're going to take our first caller. Caller number 1. Where do you think Jimmy has been? Where the hell do you think Jimmy's been for the past 4 months?
And I actually believe that he was in jail. Knowing the way he's been and the way he talks sometimes, it doesn't surprise me that his cheeky ass would end up in jail.
All right, caller number 1, you are wrong. Jimmy was not in jail this time. Caller number 2, where the hell has Jimmy been? Well, I actually think that old Jimmy was probably converting to Mormonism. Lord knows the Mormonisms have a good thing going with sometimes the wives. Actually, that's the Church of Latter-day Saints, but I'm pretty sure he was converting to Mormonism. Caller number 2, you are incorrect. He did not convert to Mormonism, although we do find it very funny. Caller number 3, where the hell has Jimmy Byrne been the past 4, 5 months?
Well, I actually believe that, truthfully, I believe that Jimmy was hunting Mukele Mbembe. Jimmy's love for the big game animals, especially that in Africa, would always lead me to the conclusion that he was indeed hunting Mukele Mbembe.
Caller number 3, unfortunately, you are also wrong. He was not hunting Mukele Mbembe, although he loves Mukele Mbembe because he believes in all those things. Jimmy, for the past 10 months, has been in Mexico. All right. Well, that was fun. Thank you for all of our callers. And we have another special guest who's going to come in and say hi real quick.
Hello, I'm Abby Kinchlow.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Uncle Jimmy.
Hi, Uncle Jimmy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah?
All right. Get out of here.
Bye.
He's
Bye.
Isn't that great? All right, shut the door. Shut the door. This is actually. Go. Anyway, boy, was that fascinating or what? All of those callers.
Man, I didn't know people cared about me that much. I feel
they did. And you know what's really funny is that, and I don't mean to be a little bit, snarky or whatever, but I had no idea. I mean, the redneck guy, I totally get that. But the soft-spoken woman didn't think that was our genre, listening to. Right. And of course, the guy from England or Australia or whatever that was, kind of a little bit of mix of both, really didn't expect him either.
No, it just goes to show how wide-ranging the Feed Bandit podcast gets.
It really is. We are an international phenomenon. Yeah.
Well, I'm humbled that folks, guessed where I was. I really appreciate that. But the truth about the matter is, it was kind of a combination of all four.
Right.
I mean, I did consider Mormonism, so I was on a little mission in Africa, and while I was there, I thought, oh, why not hunt this Kelly Mbembe thing?
Yeah. Oh, it's not a thing. It's real.
Well, then what I realized while I was there hunting it was that it's actually poaching. So they threatened to throw me in jail. So I had to flee to Mexico. So that's where I am.
My God, that is a hell of a trip. And when they gone back, he had a whole bunch of tropical diseases, including a little thing that climbs up your thingamabob when you pee in the Congo. And he no longer has a wife or children because they've left him for his, out there doing his deal. So now, all seriousness, great to have you back. We've been having fun though. We've been doing our deal, and I've been reading and trying to host and all that kind of stuff. But it is good to have my partner in crime back for sure.
Well, you did a great job. I obviously listened to the podcast that you did while I was out.
Absolutely.
And thanks for holding down the fort.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
Very entertaining. As I've always said, I'm here just to keep the flow somewhat going and maybe throw in a question or two. So.
Well, listen, no, it's a team effort. You know, we just go out there every night and have fun.
That's right. That's right. We leave it all on the field. You know, that's all you can do.
Awful, by the way, but yes. Yep. So now that we got that done, I think it's time we kind of announce a new little project that we've been working on.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yep.
See, you got to ease me in like very gently, you know, back into the.
That's true.
Back into the saddle here.
That's
so
true.
You know,
that's true.
Be
okay,
a good topic to start with.
Right. Well, okay. Well, so first of all, what we primarily talk about here is supporting small town businesses, okay, feed stores. And there's this four-legged creature who tastes pretty good called a deer. And that deer, believe it or not, although they feed wild, of course, they require or they prefer, they like supplemental feeding from time to time. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So one of the things that we love to do at Rancho Bandido is we love to test products. Okay. And we've got people that contact us and ask us to try to test stuff. A lot of the times it works out. Sometimes it doesn't work out because obviously it's not a controlled test. Okay. It's the wild, and we got the critters have a mind of their own. But one of the things that's always, I guess, fascinated me and you, of course, has been the battle of the brands. Okay. The battle of the protein brands. Which deer protein pellet, is better, or is there a pellet that is better? Which protein pellet, do the deer prefer, and why? Or is there really a preferred feed?
Yeah. I wonder if at some point we're all going to come to the conclusion that it's kind of like you got to rotate your crops type situation.
That's a good point.
You
know what? I didn't even think. Okay, see, there's another theory. You got to let your feeder go fallow, and then plant something out. One year you do cotton, next year you do peanuts. Of course, right. A lot of that is dictated by the market, of course. But I don't speak Japanese. So what we have done, you may recall the inaugural test we did, which was with the Super Duper Feed Bandit trough. And I'd like to tell a little quick story about the Feed Bandit trough. I built the Feed Bandit trough in June of 2018. Summer of 2018 was a very stressful time in my life because we were having some floor work redone, and there were multiple times where I almost doused myself in gasoline and took the whole SOB down with me. It was absolutely terrible. So my family had gone to Pennsylvania. So I just had 2 dogs and myself and a week's worth of time. So I built this testing trough, for this, and they had, you can go look at all of our videos and stuff. We got three little sections, and it has a screened-in bottom. Okay, no, it's got no cover. Of course, it's summer and it hardly rains. When I found that one out the hard way in my last test with it, but I really pride myself on building this, and I painted it, and I put our brand on there, all kinds of fun stuff. Well, we were, I took all these measurements. I'm like, okay, a black buck's chest comes up to X feet. A white tail is like this with the buck's Roman nose, plus calculate circular circumference of his antlers. All these stupid calculations. Of course, anybody who knows me knows that math is not my forte.
Strong suit.
Strong suit, yes, or strong sweet, however you
Strong
pronounce
suit,
it. So it was really funny because when I stood the trough up, the trough was past my belly button. And so I took a picture and I sent it to our group of friends, and one of my more sarcastic friends, who's actually a builder, wrote back and said, "What are you trying to blankety blank feed, giraffes?" And it was really funny because I had built this feeder so big that it really only the tallest axis bucks could feed out of it. So, anyways, that was the beginning of the Feed Bandit Trough. Unfortunately, Feed Bandit Trough died, horrible death actually, last August. So we are now trying to use a different, more controlled means of testing. So that's a roundabout way of getting you to this. So what we have done is, and we're going to document all this, okay? And we'll talk about more as time goes on. But what we have done is we have gone to a pasture on Rancho Bandido that is literally, truthfully, never had deer protein pellets served to them, okay? The deer have never had protein, okay? They have had corn, okay? And so what our goal was to set up 2 protein feeders that everybody would have, okay? They're not the big fancy ones, okay? One of them is a barrel style feeder that you can make yourself. The other one is a Boss bucket feeder. Both are very economical. Both are, types of feeders that, somebody with a lease, a recreational warrior like we are would use. And the goal is to test two brands of protein in an environment where the deer have never had protein. And we're looking for a couple of things. I mean, first and foremost, which brand, do they prefer, if any? How long does it take to get them? Okay. How do the raccoons react to them, the non-target animals, things of that nature. And I have been conducting this test, getting to be late May now. I've been conducting this test since the middle of March. And the data that I have collected is absolutely fascinating. And I think it's what we have collected is something that's going to be worth everybody who's starting a protein feeding regimen should definitely look at, because I think that looking at this and then implementing these on your own property, I think will definitely will definitely benefit you and save you some time and money as well. So the 2 brands that we are testing are West Deer Feeds. They're 20% protein. They're out of West Texas. Best kolaches in the world, I will tell you that. And the other one is going to be Double Down. Double Down Deer Feed, extremely popular brand. It's in a lot of feed stores across Texas. So with the Double Down, they're a little bit more expensive than the West Feed. So that's something else that we're looking at. Okay, in other words, is spending the money for for another brand. Does it actually deliver results? As far as the deer targeting it. Okay.
What is the difference on price wise? I mean, they're same size bags.
Yeah, same size bag. Let me get back to you on the price because I actually don't remember. But that's something that we'll document when we do a big deal. But we're gonna do a video on it. We're definitely gonna do more podcasts on it. I'm gonna crunch all the numbers. I'm probably gonna fetch the cameras. The final camera pull will be around Memorial Day, and I'll get all that data crunched. But it's gonna be very exciting. And again, just from the month that I've been doing this and kind of quantifying, big word, all this data, another big word for me, has just been really fascinating. So something to look forward to, and it'll be exciting.
All right, that was a pretty good little teaser there.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any other stores you want to tell about that yet?
Well, we can.
Okay. Okay.
No, I think that's about it. I don't want to.
All right.
I don't want to.
You don't want to spoil anything.
No, I really don't.
Okay.
I really
Fair
don't.
enough,
But
fair enough.
again, it's going to be a good comparison to what really happens out there in the field.
Right.
And that was the whole point of doing this. Now, the one thing I was going to say is that this is not a comparison to say, okay, well, the the West Deer Feeds produced this buck who's now
Right.
he was 75 inches last year. Now he's 390.
Right.
We're not doing it that. This is more of an attractability. What do they prefer? Okay, so now with that being said, I would love to to keep this test ongoing, and to see. Obviously, we'd have to select one brand, of course, but to actually see, again, going to another pasture like this one and say, okay, we're going to feed nothing but this brand of protein on this pasture. What can we do to these? What can we do to help these deer grow bigger antlers? Okay.
Mhm.
Or again, nobody ever talks about it, but the does, help with, making milk and all that. It is kind of funny. Some of the does you see in these pictures that you'll see here, and whenever I get everything done, they're ginormous. So, yeah.
Have you ever read the conditions around those claims where they say, oh, this deer's been eating this protein and now they're this size or whatever? Like, what the actual conditions are that allows them to measure something like that? Like, I mean, you'd have to obviously tag that deer somehow, to be able to, if it's free, or if it's in a pen, a small pen, then that kind of, I don't know, that kind of negates, I think, some of the benefit. But if you left it free, you'd have to tag it or track it somehow to be able to find it, I would think.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny you say that, because that's, in my opinion, it's really tough to do. Now, that being said, there are guys that can, they can say, okay, hey, here's this buck, and here's what he was. Here's what he looked like last year. And to some extent, we can do that with some of the deer at Rancho Bandido as well. But no, I don't know. Like, for example, Double Down. You look at some of the deer that they've got on there, and of course they're huge. And a lot of it's got to do with the location. Okay, South Texas. Naturally, it's got big deer. It's got a lot of good forage.
So it's nice when you start with good genetics,
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's kind of the great thing about Rancho Bandido, as it's not in the, it's not in the mega trophy buck area of the state. We've definitely got some nice deer here and there, but yeah. So if we were to do some sort of test like that, we would have to lay out all the parameters, and obviously this is, we're not being paid by any brand to do this. So, we're truthfully doing this for you, the consumer who's spending your hard-earned money to go out there and to grow bigger bone, which is kind of funny because, you're spending all this money to grow big antlers, and of course helps their body too, but that, doesn't really help the meat, doesn't help the meat taste any better, which is.
Yeah. I always thought it was interesting, you've probably seen these where they show like a picture of like a spike or something. Right. And then they're like, oh, the next year it's just 10 point or whatever, blah, blah. I've always wondered, like, okay, I get it if like you start with, a 1.5 or 2.5 year old deer, and then you kind of follow them from there. But if it's like a little spike or something, like, and then it'd be kind of hard unless there's a totally distinct feature about someone, like, which is rare. I mean, like you talk about doing it at the, Rancho Bandido, the only one outside of like maybe distinctive, I don't know, maybe antlers that I can remember is, the Super Fawn.
Oh God, yes. Yes.
I mean, how his body looked and his belly and all that, where no one else looked like that,
Agreed.
It was like amongst hundreds and hundreds of deer. It was tough to, it's rare to have it. So
Yeah, it's really, really tough. And, I think the only way you would really be able to 100% identify them all is that if you were, on the place, 24/7, and,
Mhm.
you had game cameras up constantly. You were constantly around these deer, and and you've documented them over the
Mhm.
years. I know the Kerr Wildlife Center is, one of the foremost authorities, and I think studying genetics and understanding, okay, this deer was born to spike, what will it be a couple of years from now? Introducing protein, will that help? So on and so forth. So
Mhm.
it's definitely a topic for discussion. And yeah, it'll be really going back to kind of our little study here. It'll be really interesting to see how how it pans out.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, this study will be interesting because like you were saying, regardless of the antler type thing, at least what it's showing is you're how and when or where and what they'll want to eat,
Exactly.
which gives the foundation for that possibility, right? The
Right.
foundation for possible great
Right.
growth in body and antlers
Right.
and whatnot. So
Yeah,
you got to
and
start there, I guess.
yeah, and like all ingredients and
Right.
palatability and nutrition being equal, if your brand is if your brand's more attractive to deer, then I would say that's a huge victory right there. So yeah, we will, of course. And again, just this study, again, these were, again, homemade feeders for the most part, and some of the stuff that's happened, I'll just tell you, we had a feeder dump, and it didn't knock over, but I think the coon got onto it, and it kind of dropped a lot of the protein out. So my buddy and I had to unclog it this past weekend. We lost a lot of protein, but we had a lot of protein hit the ground, and we've had a lot of rain. Okay, so we can talk about that. One of the, a lot of recreational hunters, or guys that get out there for once a month. This could happen to you. You got a homemade feeder, and a coon gets on, and he dumps all the damn protein out. You show up and the feeder's empty, and you see some wet protein on the ground. You're like, oh crap, what happened? And of course, this is exactly what's happened here at this. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's exactly what happened during this situation. We've had torrents of rain, and I was very, very, very surprised at the way that protein was treated. So again, won't get into it, but I mean, things like that are invaluable to know, and it'll kind of give you peace of mind that even though the coons do dump it and they start feasting on it, maybe the deer will eat it, maybe not. We'll see what the results say.
Right. And maybe they'll clean up the bad protein.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if they would prefer that over the good, but
Yep. Yep.
interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we all look forward to the conclusion and the write-up for what happens.
Absolutely.
When do you anticipate the trial being done?
Well, I think I'm going to be going down this weekend, and I am going to pull. I'll do another card pull. Truthfully, I need to see. There's one of the brands is running out, so I need to get in there, and I need to see. I need to see if I have another bag of this brand. Yeah. I could end it this week because again, I've got data going back to March, or maybe I'll let it run through Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
I would, if I had it my way, I would love to have it run through Memorial Day, because if you think about it, we've kind of gone through multiple seasons. Again, I started this thing, and I call it early March. Okay, so we hadn't had spring green up yet. It was still cold. All right, and another crazy thing, we had just a couple weeks before that gotten over that gigantic freeze, right? So we got different conditions. We hadn't had spring green up. Okay, here we are. We went through spring green up. Now we've had tons of rain. Of course, here we are, mid-ish, late-ish May, and we've had tons of rain as well. But that's going to start to cut off. I would, if I had my way, I'd love to continue things the summer, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd love to be able to see, okay, as their natural food sources kind of start to wither up with the heat, what are they after now? Is there any difference? Okay, if they preferred if they preferred brand A from March to May, and I'm not saying they have, then all of a sudden the heat kicks up. Maybe they like something different about the other one. I don't know.
Right.
Are deer as picky as us worthless humans that do not know? Yeah.
Well, we shall find out, or at least get a better idea, closer idea to the answering that question, I guess.
Yep, for sure. And I'm going to win me one of them Pulitzer surprises or the Nobel Peace Prize, or for deer brand protein.
Right. All right. Well, cool. I don't know if you saw slight modification in hunting season dates this year.
Oh. No,
nothing huge, but it's I don't know, it might be interesting to some folks. It says there are 2 additional days in the special white-winged dove season, I guess, in the South Dove Zone this year.
All right.
And the general pronghorn season extended from 9 days to 16.
Whoa. Are you serious?
Yeah. So
holy cow. Okay, that is huge.
I guess that implies that there are the population is growing.
Yeah, it certainly does. That is phenomenal. Now, with the pronghorn, which by the way is one of Texas's natural treasures, there's only one native species of antelope to North America, and it's the pronghorn, and you can find them everywhere, of course. Well, all the plain states. Okay. In Texas, we have 2 herds. Well, there's actually 3. But the 2 big herds are the Panhandle and then in the Trans-Pecos. Now, for years, because I'm a dork and I absolutely eat this stuff up, the Trans-Pecos herd has not been doing very well. I think personally, and I think it may have had something to do with some disease, something of that nature. For me, I think it's a food thing, and I think it's a water thing. I think it's a fence thing too. Pronghorn antelope do not do well with 5-strand barbed wire fences. I think they will jump, but they don't prefer to. Yeah, so the Panhandle herd has done exceptionally better. And again, I think you get obviously you get more rain there. I also think the water is more available there because by virtue of the fact you run more head of cows there. The more cattle you've got, the more water sources you've got to have, the better that affects the wildlife. So the fact that they've extended the season like that's tremendous. Because ever since going back to about 91, my dad for my birthday bought him and his best friend an antelope hunt in Marfa, Texas, which was it was great. It was so funny because I wanted to do it so badly that I didn't care that I was just a young tyke and not shooting. It's just the experience. So. But I distinctly remember it was 1 week in October, and ever since then it's always been 1 week. So the fact that they've extended that's tremendous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. I'd love to do that one day.
Oh God, dude, I'm telling you, I'm kicking myself in the butt for not doing it sooner.
Yeah,
I would love to. I'd love to get they call them goats. I'd love to get a goat from the Panhandle. Maybe up there near Spearman or Amarillo. Oh, so fantastic. God, I love it. Yep.
Awesome. All right. You got anything else for this one?
I think for this one we're good. I think next time we'll talk about kind of the end of turkey season. Got another weekend coming up. Last weekend talked about youth turkey season. And just so I remember. I think we've talked about how tough wild turkeys are. Well, we just another teaser for the next episode. We have been reminded yet again just how tough the wild turkey is, and it's frustrating, but hey, it happens. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing it. Mm-hmm. Considering I didn't get to hunt my favorite bird this year once again.
Yep, our cup overflow with turkey. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was easy. They're everywhere, but no big deal. I'm sure they'll be there next year too.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just there'll always be another season.
yeah. Well, so you hope, with the old COVID and Joe Biden and yeah.
If there's COVID-21 next year, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, you know what? COVID, the only good thing that came out of COVID was the fact that I got to turkey hunt so much. And I shot 3 turkey, which is not heard of, by the way. But yeah, I've gotten 1 turkey. So, well, I shot 1 turkey this season because the adult season's over. So anyway. Well,
take advantage of it while they're there, because, it could be a year or 2 where it's harder. So
Yep. Oh, and we will talk. Okay, another thing. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about how hard they are. We're also going to talk about the different color phases in turkeys. And at Rancho Bandido, we have a personal experience with that. And I have not told you this. And we jump off the air here, I'll tell you.
Oh, well, no, I mean, hold it for the podcast. I want to hear it, along with the listeners.
Fine. You're not coming to my birthday party.
Wow.
Yeah,
we'll see how you feel next year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you can come. All right, we'll do it. It's a date.
All right. Sounds good.
Go.
Well, I would just say to you, the listener, let us know what you think. I'd be curious to see what people think ahead of, finding out what happens with this feed trial. If anyone has any opinions or guesses as to why deer do what they do with protein, or if anyone has a preferred protein that they swear by, or do you rotate your proteins, like rotating your crops? Anything, any anecdote would be interesting to hear. So shoot us an email, let us know, and we'd love to talk about it on the program, or even maybe try it out. If you have a different methodology, anything about that is interesting. We want to disseminate the wisdom to your fellow listeners. So
absolutely,
let us know about that. Other than that, it's good to be back in the saddle. Thanks for going easy on me on this first podcast in several months.
Yeah. You did very well. I thought you would be fumbling and bumbling all over yourself, but you.
Well, I mean, I usually
really done well.
So you can't see me right now, because remember we had to turn our cameras off because the internet connection was not that great. So it's
that's the one thing that has not changed.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah, for reals.
But anyway, so I guess we'll sign off here. I'm broadcasting my end of this thing from my temporary Feed Bandit residence until the permanent one comes around, and I get what I consider my recording studio, my official office / recording studio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. Finally have a spot of my own.
Yeah,
it's been too long.
Yeah. Oh, I share a room with my girls, and then the playroom. It is a bloody disaster.
Yeah, it's your playroom recording studio.
Oh my God, it's something else. Yeah, something else.
But anyway, well, thanks everyone out there for listening. Really appreciate it. Come back for more. In the next podcast, we'll have some good stuff for you. We talked about the turkey stuff, so I'm looking forward to hearing all those stories.
Yep.
And that's really it. Thank you, guys. Do you want to say anything to the folks before they leave?
I mean, I'm going to say the usual, and that is support your local feed store! !
Very good. Very excellent enunciation.
Yep.
And you do speak French.
I do, for sure.
All right, folks. Have a good one.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit Podcast. If you like what we discuss on the show, be sure to sign up to our email list to get even more killer hunting ideas, tips, tricks, and exclusive deals on innovative hunting gear and services delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up over at feedbandit.com or simply by texting the word bandit to 33777. See you on the next one. And remember, support your local feed store.